Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Tracy, longtime industry veteran. And what kind of industry? Industry is comics. But I've also strayed out of comics to do prose novels. This episode is brought to you by the trilogy of the Demands. The Demands is the name of a fictional band in Pittsburgh, and they play lots of bars and clubs that happen to be owned by the Russian mob, which ay, 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 it's ugliness, let me tell you. And our main character, the young ingenue Lainey Kilburn, she falls in love with the son of the head of the Pittsburgh branch of the Russian mob. So things get really ugly, but it's good stuff. Good stuff. Trust me. Would I lie to you? Okay. Bizarre Adventures. It was originally called Marvel Preview for years and years, but that was a terrible name because Marvel... back then, older kids got snobbish about little comics, and they didn't mind magazines. You know, like the stuff from Warren Publications. They would read that. So this was one of those attempts to really, capture that market, and they had for a while. It's just that Warren Publications had eerie and creepy, and that kind of stuff really, really grabbed people. Now, this is one of the last issues of Bizarre Adventures, and after that there were no more black and white magazines except for Savage Sword of Conan, which lasted till, I guess, 1990 or so. And briefly there was a relaunch of Savage Tales with Larry Hama that was really cool. So you got Electra, you got Triton, you got Shadowhunter, and who is this guy? You just might think you know. Well, that was annoying. I'm sorry about that high pitch. Frank Miller's very first solo piece. He was writing and drawing at the time, but he wasn't inking himself. So he's teaching himself all kinds of stuff, and it's really brilliant stuff. The bottom of those shoes, that's done with a duotone, where you have a chemical that you if you use your brush and put it over certain areas, you can create a graying effect. And also there's just plain line work mixed in with some of the gray. Watercolor as well. It's just so much stuff. I mean, I've gone on about how I prefer black and white anyway. There's even some stipple. A little bit of thumbprint action going on there to affect smoke. To create the effect of smoke. Well, and then splatters. Love that watercoloring effect. So he's learned a lot from Klaus Janson, because Klaus had been in the business for 5 years prior. You've probably seen this a billion times, because a lot of Frank Miller Daredevil reprints, they come out with trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibus, pretty much every other year it seems. So this isn't uncommon, but this is. I don't believe the rest of the stories in this book have been reprinted. Shadowhunter, created by Neal Adams, scripted by Doug Mensch, pencils by Larry Hama, Neal Adams, inks Dick Giordano, Terry Austin, Neal Adams, and Dennis Francis, and they all worked for Neal Adams Continuity Studios. Well, Doug Mensch didn't, but he did the dialogue. Probably, he followed what Neal had plotted. So you're on an army base, just small talking. But almost immediately they get attacked by these ninja type characters, except the ones that don't wear masks over their face. That is just, I love it. Man, you could feel his head ringing from that. So they take on some more guys, and whoop, 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 whoop. I just jumped ahead to a really cool face. They're all talking, and there's some nice double lighting there. I don't want to give everything away, but most of it. Shadowhunter, I have been so called. But you block our path as your enemy, but General Kang will have you destroyed. I do not serve Kang. I have never served Kang. This is not Kang the Conqueror from the movies or the comics, just to be clear. The rest of them are still in Kang's thrall, and they want to take this guy out. And he's fairly small. He's not even 5 feet tall, so he sneaks underneath. Wood. Takes him no time. And the army men, they don't know what to do. But The other people leave in the shadow, and I love the Zipatone effect here. It's light, it goes into dark and black, where their black costumes kind of fit in. They toss some gas grenades, and the only one who falls is our lead character. He's coming to, and he's at an intelligence office. He's being asked about his participation in this whole situation. The four are in retention. They won't be going anywhere for a while. Then I succeeded in stopping them, and turns out he did. It's not over yet for our hero. He gets interrogated. This guy says, "Without truth serum yet, I don't believe it." And this guy chooses to believe. Nikki Jordan, his parents from both Kyoto, Japan. He was born in Hawaii. I am a loyal American, though I've never lost sight of my Japanese heritage. He tried to join the army, but he was too frail and small, so he just got cooking, KP duty, as they call it, kitchen. So he tells a story about how he has this inner strength that he draws from that has been taught by his father. So what happened was a lot of captives in Vietnam. I'm assuming it's Vietnam. They don't really say. It could be some other crackpot tiny country. Anyway, most of the people who are involved are basically brainwashed. I am Kang, your master. Kang, Kang, Kang. Must have been Kang, Kang, Kang. So, believing I was finally converted to Kang, I was released today. So, he basically says that, Nikki decides that he's going to help stop everything. And this other guy, this suit and tie guy, he's just like, I don't believe we're going to trust this Nikki character. But they go ahead with it. And I would say the mechanics here are Terry Austin, because that's his thing, and he does pen work rather than feathery type work like in a brush. He gets dropped. I love that shot of the ejector seat. Great angle. So he's over one of the main areas that he's familiar with. He stamps his foot down, breaks through the brittle roof that was aged in a fine barrel. And let me see. Go to attack him. Maybe make short work of them. You ain't gonna F around. He goes, what are you gonna do here? The computer of yours just over there. I'll be destroying that. Ha, remember I called you a little insect during your training, Shadowhunter? I remember. Okay, there. He's like, hey, you ain't gonna do jack shit. But Nikki goes inside. He goes through the air vent, and it's too small for pretty much anybody except him. I mean, he's actually closer to 4 feet than 5 feet. So he goes in, starts tearing the place apart, gets out, gets picked up. So, excellent story. I didn't go much more into it because the whole thing reads really well. I don't want to ruin it all for you. Now, this is undoubtedly a refurbished Logan's Run chapter because you have a lot of similarities. They took out the little stripe in the chest, but they didn't do it on the cover. So, okay, I'll stop doing that noise. And it's very early Michael Golden, inked by Steve Mitchell, and it's it's not the best pairing. Steve Mitchell is a good inker. He did Iron Man in the 80s when Rhodey was Iron Man. He inked Suicide Squad and just a lot of other books. A lot of books for DC. But the thing is, it's like Logan's Run, but I don't know if there were changes made afterwards. It's written by Archie Goodwin, who was not the writer at the time of the short-lived 7-issue Logan's Run adaptation. But they run into a lot of the same situations, like the Rat Pack. There's these little kids that live on their own, and they're just like their own gang. They were used in the movie and in the 2nd issue, I think, of Logan's Run, the book, the comic. they take off, and you can see how there's stuff Golden's still working out, but his storytelling's still sharp. This guy blows away a few of the kids because they're savage kids, I guess. And he looks a lot like Francis, who was Logan's best friend in the movie and in the comic. He comes across a woman who looks very much. She's dressed very much like I can't think of her name from the movie. That's really amazing. There, that shot, that angle, and the way when people get shot in comics, it's usually not that style. This is like a whole new language he's creating gradually. And the one guy's name is Cable, not to be confused with the X-Force leader. And it turns out it's a robot. Now, I don't get this at all. I really think there was heavy rewriting done on this because it just makes no sense in certain situations. But, Ballard is Logan's Run's name. Logan's name is Ballard. So here we go. You know this is Logan's Run. So instead of people flying up for renewal when they turn 30, although in the novel it's 21, it's different. It's supposed to be a battle in the air with weapons, and they're like swimming up the circle to... It's really contrived how it was changed, but it's funny because that's exactly what it is. And we see Logan's training and such. It's just really odd. It's a very odd read because it just, I don't know, if you don't have if it's a solo story, and if it's not attached to Logan's Run, you really don't know what the whole point of the story is. It's more like an addendum to the series. But I don't understand how renewal and all that... Oh, there's more of that renewal, but they call it swimming. And they fight a shock mace that this guy has. The very last guy doesn't make it. And surprisingly, what's his name? The guy who plays Francis in the movie is shocked, and then he learned that it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's just to, cull the herd. Not unlike a Thanos snap. It's sort of a population control situation. Another little innovation that Mike Golden did. It's just very unsatisfying a read on its own, but it's neat to see. I love seeing early art by soon-to-be fan favorites because you just see how they're trying to work things out, whether it's anatomy or storytelling or visual effects. And that's about it on that. And we get another treat. This is by Wendy Pini, who her and her husband Richard, they pretty much pioneered self-publishing along with Dave Simmons' Cerberus. And I just love, and Triton's perfect for this. He has probably the most elfin quality of all the Inhumans. He gets stuck in some sludge, gets rescued, gets washed off, and they first think he's a sea monster, but they don't do anything, and he's like, they're polluting the water. So you get the Submariner lecture, but it's true. There was. You gotta keep the waters fresh and pollution free. So anyway, the ship gets attacked by pirates. So Triton, as a thank you, he takes out the pirates. I just love her ink line too. It's bold. It's so different, And I guess that's why ElfQuest took off so well. It looked professional from day one. So I love it. And you really don't see a lot of Triton solo stuff. He had a big Neal Adams splash in an issue of the Kree Skrull War in Avengers. But yeah, he's always been kind of there. So he takes out and he goes. So he's gone. In the end is the reoccurring story of Bucky Bizarre. And I love the art, but it just doesn't crack me up. It's cute, and it's always got like a groaner at the end. And oh, next issue, Stephen King's Lawnmower Man by Walt Simonson. That's a great book too. But that's all I'm covering. I hope you like this. This is like my umpteenth take of this, because one thing or another happens. Noise, or I stammer, or whatever. But anyway, share this if you're a fan of any of these. And the Logan's Run thing is really intriguing. Beautiful Neal Adams. Yeah, it's a great mix of fan favorites. I mean, where else are you going to get Miller, Adams, Golden, and Wendy Pini between two covers? You're not, until this issue of Bizarre Adventures 28. All right, everybody.